RoadToRuler.com with your morning news, your Horn of Z's, aka your sip of coffee. Let's get right into it. Excitement in the cryptocurrency world. Big pullback, shall we call another pullback. Those of you wanting to get in can get a huge discount today. Maybe even a huge discount tomorrow. Who knows? Timing the bottom of the pullbacks is difficult. Remember, there's a lot of big money that wants to get in. Like all big money wants to get in. And the only time they get in are pullbacks like this, and then you got a stronger base and it moves forward. So those of you looking for a 10 to 20% discount on cryptos, today's your day. How far down will it go? I don't know. It's interesting that it is the timing of this pullback seems very coordinated with the Fed rate hike. Is there manipulation in the cryptos? Of course there is. And there will always be. It's not as powerful and long held as the gold and silver manipulation, but there's still manipulation. But remember, big money wants to get in. The only way they're going to get in is if there's big pullbacks. So we're seeing a pullback today. They haven't announced that Bitcoin is dead yet, so I don't know if it's at the bottom. That's a good sign that things are at the bottom, is when they announce Bitcoin has died and the other cryptocurrencies are dead. So probably not at the bottom yet, but if you understand what's going on, the world is changing right around us. You will take advantage of this at some point and get your feet wet. If you haven't gotten your feet wet yet in Bitcoin and Ethereum, you've got a nice pullback. Although Ethereum's still up over the last 7 days, amazingly, even though it's pulled back hugely from close to $400 to near $300, it just had a huge run. So it's going to pull back. Everybody should have some of that. Even if you don't believe in the cryptocurrencies, Ethereum is so much more than a cryptocurrency. It's an access route to the blockchain technology, which is huge. I mean, that is our future. There's no doubt about it. And if you pick the right companies, just like in the dot-com days, early dot-com, late 80s, early 90s, 90s especially, when the advent of the World Wide Web came into play, companies rose up out of the ether, so to speak. And for the 10 years from 1990, after the introduction of the World Wide Web, to 2000, all kinds of companies sprung up, and then there was a mania in 99, 2000, and that bubble popped. But the big, strong names, Apple, Google, Cisco, all those big Silicon Valley names you hear today were born in the 90s and had to go through a big pullback and then on to riches and glory. Fortunes were made, lifetime fortunes were made. New industries were built. That's what's happening with the blockchain, and Bitcoin struggling to fight the idiots who are running the show, the computer guys who don't understand the full concept of what Bitcoin could be and what it is now. It'll make it. It's in Clif's data out 100 years, so I'm not worried about it at all. But definitely get some Bitcoin if you don't have any now, and definitely get some Ethereum. And if you have bought Clif High's report, Crypto Crocodiles, that's Crocodiles, he's talking about the crocodile teeth. This is the way the summer's going to go. So this is great. When is the bottom of the tooth? I don't know. It could happen any day. And knowing that there's a lot of big money wanting and waiting to get in, this pullback probably won't last long. So if you've been waiting and you wanted a discount on your cryptos, now is the time to make some bets. And moving on, here's according to the mainstream, according to Zero Hedge, here's why Bitcoin. When I say Bitcoin, a lot of times I'm just referring to all the cryptos, but let's just talk about Bitcoin because it's the largest market cap right now. Here's an article on Zero Hedge. Bitcoin plunges to 2-week lows on triple whammy of concerns. After rallying over 80% in the last month. That's a big rally. Ethereum was even bigger. So yeah, it's normal to pull back. Anyway, after rallying over 80% in the last month, Bitcoin prices are tumbling down 25% from record highs to 2-week lows as cryptocurrencies face uncertainty on 3 fronts. Look at the graph. Doesn't that look like crocodile teeth? Cliff, I would call this another web-bot hit. Let's see what we got here. So they're saying there's iBank Coin reports investors are spooked over recent cyber attacks, uncertainty surrounding a Bitcoin platform upgrade, and proposed legislation which adds cryptocurrencies to a list of reportable assets under existing anti-money laundering laws. I would say all these things might be coordinated this time to bring the cryptos back to reality, kind of deflate the bubble that was happening. It's not an overall bubble, not even close. But when things rise 100%, 200%, 300%, yeah, sure, they'll fall back and then they'll build a base and they'll move up again. Anyway, the 3 reasons. These are the 3 reasons supposedly that all came together all of a sudden, coincidentally, shall we say. And this has happened since the invention of Bitcoin, so get used to it. All right, number 1 was a cyber attack. As CNBC reports, major Bitcoin exchanges were hit with multiple cyber attacks this week. Bitfinex, the largest U.S. dollar-based Bitcoin exchange, announced it was under distributed denial of service attacks, which slowed down the service. Now, these exchanges are not what you think they are. They're not some gigantic operation run on the up and up. They trade a lot more Bitcoin than they should be trading, a lot more cryptocurrencies than they should be trading, meaning there's a lot of rehypothecation going on within the exchanges, and when people pull their Bitcoin out of the exchanges, they don't have it. Mt. Gox is a great example of that. And you know they'll say we're down for maintenance. That was Coinbase's claim over the past few days. We're down for maintenance. The volume's just too great. Well, in reality, they're balancing their book. You know, they probably sold a lot more Ether than they had, so they're going to say they're down, spook the market, and all of a sudden everybody's trying to get out so fast, and they can buy at a lower price to restock their exchanges. Sad but true, that's the way all markets work. I mean, every single market works on a fractional reserve system. The Dow is one of the classics. Companies trade the full float of the company within a couple weeks. How is that possible when most people holding the stock don't ever sell during the normal everyday movements? It's because they don't have to go out and buy stock when you give them their money. You give them your money and they put it in the pool, and from the pool they net their buys and sells, and then they come up with a fictitious amount they own. That's what it's done. And the DTCC is the evil entity that is supposed to be in charge of that, and they're horrible, ridiculous. Over 300 million failure to deliver happen every day, my friends. So first it was a cyber attack. Probably all the exchanges claim cyber attack. What an easy way to shut their doors when they need to balance their portfolio. And number 2, platform upgrade. On August 1st, the Bitcoin platform will be undergoing a protocol upgrade labeled BIP 148, meant to solve the block size debate. If they solve the block size debate, that's a gigantic hurdle to move forward. So, timing, a month and a half before this thing goes into effect, supposedly. Perfect time for the big money to load up and get ready for a run. An argument over the size of Bitcoin's blocks, a record of transactions on the public ledger, the blockchain. The planned improvements are supposed to help scale Bitcoin for future growth, lower fees, and speed up transaction times. However, the upgrade is not without risks, and the Bitcoin community is divided. That's the SegWit versus Bitcoin Unlimited debate. I've told you where I stand. I stand firmly in the camp that Bitcoin should be in the hands of the people. And it could be an amazing tool when the banks go down, probably sometime this summer. But some people are too worried about securing their fortunes than providing this tool to humanity. Huge mistake in my mind. If the banks go down, then people will be looking for something fast and easy to use and cheap, and it won't be Bitcoin if SegWit gets implemented. But that's the free market at work, because there's a lot of other cryptocurrencies that could be seen as much more useful than Bitcoin. And the cat's out of the bag unless Bitcoin cleans up their act. People will go to other cryptocurrencies, maybe even use Ether as a means of exchange. But there's other faster ones. So we'll see what happens. Ultimately, I think it will get sorted out that Bitcoin is used as a form of money going forward. There's a lot of kind of talk behind the scenes that this is purposely being delayed so that people don't get in too early, and the wealth of the world gets shifted over to somewhere else. Right now it's being spread out over all the cryptos because of Bitcoin's problems and issues. It's a good problem to have. It means it's so popular. But the reality is we want it to be popular. We want everybody in the world to use it. And any of these changes they're trying to put in on the SegWit front will just slow that down, which is sad. But we move on, and in Clif's data, Bitcoin goes out 100 years. So this too shall pass, my friends. But anyway, that's the second reason they're calling for the pullback. And the third reason was this suspicious anti-money laundering bill. Let me read this here. Last but not least, Senators Chuck Grassley and Dianne Feinstein and John Cornyn and Sheldon Whitehouse, all of them are teaming up against Bitcoin, supposedly, have co-sponsored Bill S-1241, Combating Money Laundering, Terrorist Financing, and Counterfeiting Act, which adds language to existing anti-money laundering provisions to include digital wallets, prepaid access devices, and other digital currency exchangers if they contain over $10,000 of cryptocurrency. That's so ridiculous. So ridiculous. In an electronic age, you can go anywhere in the world with your Bitcoin private key stored in your head. How are they going to stop you from doing that? The government control, this is the whole problem with the government trying to control the cryptocurrencies, is they aren't meant to be controlled. They're decentralized for a reason. If some government is very anti-cryptocurrency, it will just tell everybody, hey, let's do business somewhere else. And the country and the government that embraces the cryptocurrency are going to be the richest country and in the world, because that is the future. So will this really happen, that the U.S. puts forward huge roadblocks for the people of the United States, we the people, to own the cryptocurrencies? I think this is a bluff. I think it's part of the plan. Notice it was announced right when Janet Yellen was saying, "Oh, we're going to increase a quarter of a point." So yeah, I think it's just another planned pullback. If you haven't gotten in the cryptos and were jealous a few weeks ago when they were going crazy, now's your time. Now's your time to get in. Buy a little now, buy a little next week, buy a little the week after. So it isn't going anywhere, my friends. And all the issues are getting solved behind the scenes. So it just, it's going to be crocodile teeth. So you gut check. I don't know when the bottom's going to hit, probably a week or two. And then it runs up again. And it'll go higher than the old highs and then go like this all summer long. So exciting times. Exciting times for the cryptocurrencies. And, of course, what is going to happen? They're going to slam silver down back again below $17. Silver is the most suppressed asset in the history of the world. And if you took my advice a couple weeks ago and took 10% profit of your Bitcoin, great move. Silver hasn't gone down all that much. You probably got in around $17 with your 10%, and just keep stacking it. And that silver, you don't sell that silver. Keep it stacked, and keep adding to it the next run up for the cryptos. When you double your money again, you want to take 10% off. I mean, a lot of people say, why only 10%, Biggs? Well, it depends how much metal you already have. You need a balance of both cryptocurrencies and silver to survive what's about to come down with the crash of the banking system. The derivative market issues have not gone away. They're sitting there right in front of our face. So let's quickly run over The morning news. Putin, probably the smartest government official on earth these days. His latest is Putin offers asylum to leaker Comey. Putin said, "Hey Comey, you're a leaker of secret documents. You recorded your conversation with the president, written recording, and then you leaked it to the press. What's the difference between that and Edward Snowden?" Putin is just awesome. I wish he ran our country. Well, no, I don't have a problem with Trump. He's just dealing with the entrenched bad guys, and the fight between the bad guys and the good guys is happening behind the scenes. So Trump will come through at some point. Trump train stalls as U.S. manufacturing output tumbles in May. Here's the biggest thing I don't like about Trump is that he's still rigging the markets 100% of the time. Every day, click of a mouse, Steve Mnuchin, click, 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 click. I'm making the stock market go here. I'm making the bond market go here. I'm making the oil price go here. Gold and silver will stay here. And, okay, he probably gets his work done by 10 o'clock in the morning every morning, setting his algos to trade and keep things under control, and he moves on to the next project. That's the power of computers, my friends. It has the U.S. Treasury has unlimited funds, unlimited access to derivatives, unlimited tools to rig the markets with computers. So, what do? You buy Bitcoin, you stack silver at these low prices. Nike cutting 2% of global workforce, as Janet Yellen says, "Oh yeah, we can raise rates. Things are strong enough." All the companies are just disappearing. It's sad, but it's true. Nothing is true that comes out of the government, and everything is done for a reason. It's a perfect storm of negativity. Veteran trader rejoins the dark side. After many months of fighting all the naysayers, predicting the next big stock market crash, I am finally succumbing to the seductive story of the dark side and getting negative on equities. You should have been negative on equities, at 10,000 Dow. The reality is it's rigged. The game is rigged 100%. They can place the Dow at $100,000, 100,000 points, or is it dollars or points? At 100,000. They can do that with the click of a mouse. So, does it matter if everybody says, "Oh, what all the fundamentals say there should be a crash"? Doesn't matter. You got to be in the basement of the U.S. Treasury with your computer and a little mouse on the side of the computer. You click, and all of a sudden it changes the world. Good job, Steve Mnuchin. It's insane what is going on. Absolutely insane. Okay, existing home sales crash. You know my take on housing. I think housing will go down 90%. And the reason it's going to go down 90%, and probably by 2036 is the day we bottom out in housing. And the reason is, if the banks aren't lending, your house is worth a fraction of what it is today. I mean, we're talking when the derivative crash happens and the banks stop lending altogether and the banking system is destroyed, who has the if it's just a cash purchase type of situation with housing, it's going to drop 90%, if not 100%. The whole concept that a house is an investment is going away, and it will go away for the next 20 years because it was never meant to be an investment. It's meant to be a place you live. And the only reason it was it was made an investment was the government was giving out free money and the central bankers were giving out free money. The minute that stops, you have a crash in the housing market because no one can buy a house with cash. It's that simple. And there's going to be earth changes, so a lot of people are going to have to move from where they are. We'll get into that in another video. New York Fed soars to highest since September 2014. Philly Fed also beats. In a much-needed confirmation that Janet Yellen did not make a policy mistake by hiking rates yesterday, moments ago, the Empire State and Philly Fed smashed expectations with the first printing at the highest level since September 2014. 19.8% above the expected 4% and well above May 1st contraction print, while the Philly Fed posted a 27.6%, also beating consensus estimates of 24 if it dropped from last month's 38.8. All these numbers are ridiculous. It's all a computer program in the basement of the Fed. Click. Done. Steve Mnuchin's job is done by 10 a.m. in the morning and he gets to go play golf. I don't know if he plays golf. Let's see. Prices, U.S. import and export prices tumble in May as China credit impulse collapses. China is smarter than the U.S. because they know the game. They've been in on the road to root a game for a long, long time. And, yeah, they're going to go massively in debt just like the U.S. did. Brilliant move to massively inflate the system in order to destroy it. And that's what the U.S. has been doing since early 1980s. Since the Gold Commission report came out and they said, well, unless we get our budgets under control, the calls for a gold standard will become louder and louder. Well, did they really try to get their budgets under control? Right after the Gold Commission report was released, what did they do? They announced Star Wars and supply-side economics, printed money, just up the yin-yang. Poof, the bubble. Let's blow the bubble bigger, 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 bigger until it pops, and then we can start fresh with gold. More terrorist stuff. I already talked about the Bitcoin. China is not going to raise rates. They're playing the game. Flood the market. The U.S. has already flooded their market. Let's flood our market with everything. China is the biggest bubble out there on the banking side, with fake loans everywhere, all over the place. That bubble will pop and it'll reverberate around the world, popping all the derivative bubbles. You know, I have been saying it's going to be Europe that goes first. It might even be China. China can pop the bubble like instantly. And a lot of the Chinese are getting into Bitcoin and loving it, which is great. And the Chinese government has cleaned up their exchanges, which is great. So China is preparing for a cryptocurrency world, as well as a world of gold and silver. Mainly silver because they know there's massive amounts of gold. But silver can't be used really as money anymore, unfortunately, because it's all been used up over the past 60, 70 years of electronics. We've used all the silver up. It's all in landfills somewhere in old iPhones that are sitting in your basement. So yeah, I wish there was more silver to return to a silver standard. The U.S. might try to do it with the Silver Eagle program, but the value of them will have to change. It'd be 1-to-1 gold to silver because there's about 6 billion ounces of physical gold out there, and there's about 6 billion ounces of physical silver. The 6 billion ounces of physical gold is probably more like 60 billion ounces of physical gold. If you've read my work on all the secret gold out there, on Yamashita's gold in the Grand Canyon, there's gold all over the place. Massive amounts of gold. Silver, on the other hand, is a bigger problem. Okay, Trump is tweeting still. Yes, I know he loves the tweet, and it's done for a reason, but now is not the time to be tweeting. Now is the time to say, okay, this Russian thing is over. I'm going to move on with my administration's goals of returning prosperity to America and destroying the banking cabal and destroying the bad guys who run our lives. So don't even, they're going to go for obstruction of justice. Let them do whatever they want. You need to move on with your agenda, and we need to fire a lot of people within the military-industrial complex and within the administration at the FBI. Leakers should be tried for treason. Comey first and foremost, and then everybody else who's been doing the leaking. The Obama administration lackeys that refuse to testify in court under oath. All these people who are absolutely trying to overthrow the U.S. government. We need to take them down, and Trump needs to pull that trigger now. And yes, it will be ugly. People need to go to jail. So hopefully Trump will say, well, if there's zero proof of Russian collusion, don't let him, stir up the pot with this obstruction of justice bullshit. Just get on with your business, Mr. Trump. And then finally, let's talk about South African mines must be 30% black owned. Rand and mining. There's going to be nationalization of all mining companies. When the banks collapse and the people have nothing to use as money, there will be nationalization of all mining companies. If you own a share of a mining stock, it's going to be nationalized. I would vote for nationalization. If nobody has anything and you got a handful of people owning the wealth of the world, yes, the people are going to vote for nationalization. Will you get something? Yeah, maybe in the United States. It's fair. Something. but don't expect to get rich and be the only rich person in your country. It's just not going to happen. And I've talked about it a lot, that the wealth on the ground of these mining companies are too valuable. They have a problem, not that they're undervalued. They have a problem that the wealth on the ground is too valuable to be kept back from the people when the people have no money. They have nothing to use as money. So all, I would say most all mines and mining shares, a lot of nationalization going on, whole lot, especially also with the physical metal in the vaults. If you're vaulting your physical metal with someone, why? Are you crazy? What an easy target for confiscation. So yeah, I think that South Africa taking back mines is a good thing. They've been abused for so long. Mexico would do the same thing, and they'll take back all the foreign-owned mines. Will they give them to their people or have the government play with them? I don't know. It's talked about in the Road to Ruta documents. In the Teacher's Guide to Wishes and Rainbows, they talk about who should be mining this stuff. Should it be privately owned? Should it be government owned? Should the government take this stuff away? It's all talked about in the Road to Ruta stuff. You just got to read into it. And that's what I do. I read into all the news and tell you on the Road to Ruta theory, the theory that there are people trying to take down the bad guys within our government and return to a gold standard, or a version of the gold standard, which incorporates silver and the cryptocurrencies, which I think is more and more likely now. I try to give you the inside scoop, and I look at things that way. And if you're interested, go to roadtoruta.com, sign up for the free emails, and when you do that, you get a free book. So just go to Road to Ruta and put your name in the sign up section, name and email. This is Bix Weir. You guys have a good day. Have a good weekend. Not sure if I'm going to get something out tomorrow. I'll try my best. Been really busy here at the Road to Ruta. I am in the process of making some Ruta coins. Really cool coins with silver coins with all the Road to Ruta stuff that I used to have on it. Found the dies and found all the original designs. So it's really exciting. It should come out sometime in July. And it won't be offered up to the public. It will be offered up to private road members for renewals and new subscriptions. So go check out the private road. And right now I'm giving away $30 in paper wallet Ethereum. And with this drop back in prices, you're going to get more than you got 2 weeks ago. So go check it out at roadtoruta.com. We'll talk to you later.